We're back with another classic video. I'm sure we're all tired of hearing about it. All about purpose. I made this new mint tea. I've been growing my own tea lately. It's pretty green, but I'm excited to give it a shot. Everyone talk about it. Find your purpose, find your purpose, find your purpose. Where are we looking? Where are we even looking? Why is everyone saying find it? For the last 10 years, I spent my entire life looking in places through healing, through plant medicine, through traveling, through all these outside forces. Because I'm trying to find it, because we were told to look, find your purpose. But that's the problem. What are we looking for? And this is what this video is going to be about, because we're not looking for it, we're creating it. And by creating it, you need to look inward, because it's always been inside of us. It's inside of our souls, inside of our hearts, our spirit, whatever word you want to use, it doesn't matter. It's inside. So when we look inward, we're able to discover, rediscover who we are, what we're meant to do, and I guess you can call it your purpose, because you're now living within your values. Different on an individual level. Purpose to me will be different purpose to you. It'll be different purpose to your friends, your family, and everybody around you. So it's a very personal thing. So I hope that this video explains how personal it is for me and how I discovered it by developing my own philosophy around the heal, build, be method. But maybe it'll give you some ideas where, oh wow, that's how I discover, rediscover, or that's how I create my purpose and bring that into your own life. So let's do it. Now, by the end of this video, you have a simple framework to stop chasing that one right path, make purpose a project that you can actually achieve by the end of this month, and know exactly what you want to do this week. So the question I'm always asking is, why are we so confused around the topic of purpose? I feel like we start at such a young age to try to discover what we need to do. We're pushed in this box to say, hey, what do you want to do? What kind of school do you want to go to? What do you want to do in your career? But at the age of 17, our brain is like wet cement. It's not ready to be molded. Even though our parents, societies, media, everything from the age of 0, from the ages to 17, everyone's trying to mold us into this person or project that they want us to be. And we're not ready yet, because those are the years that we're just discovering what it even is to be a human being on this planet that is circling around a sun in a universe that is so vast. So like, why are we forced to do this such at a young age? No kidding, there's a dramatic incline of mental health, depression, and anxiety, suicides, and all these crazy things that are happening in the world because we're forced to make these decisions at such a young age. And then once we do it, we suppress and we suppress and we keep pushing till we jump onto pharmaceuticals, we eat bad food, and we just go down a bad path. But there's an answer, and the answer is all inside. It's all inward. We just have to look inward. That's where all the answers are. So let's start looking inward. Let's start with the first analogy, the crystal analogy. Check this one out. Okay, so here's the crystal analogy. Crystal, the heal, build, be philosophy I was talking a little bit at the beginning. So when you're a teen, right, your crystal is smug. It's smudged because everybody has their fingerprints on it, right? We have our friends, we have our parents, we have the culture, right? We have society, we have government, we have politics, we have our media, right? Everything has our fingertips on our crystal. So it smudges the crystal, right? So our 20s, what are we meant to do now? We have this crystal, we're trying to figure out what our purpose is, but everyone's fingerprints on it, everyone's opinion is on our crystal. So in our 20s, our job is to heal, okay? We need to heal in our 20s, we need to build in our 30s, and then we can be in our 40s onward, right? 40s, 50s, 60s onwards. And I'll get to that. But in your 20s, you need to polish it. You need to heal, right? We need to go through the past. We need to heal all that shit, all that trauma, all the garbage that people have just been touching our crystal. We need to polish our crystal. We need to make our crystal so crystal clear so we can understand who we are, right? So that when you're healing, you're trying to discover, you're rediscovering your values. What's important to you? Not what's important to your parents, not what's important to your, government, politics, school, whatever the system is, like not what's important to them, what's important to you, right? So you're through your 20s, you're healing. So that's where you get the 80% healing and 20% building, 20% being, where you're still doing building, you're still being. When I say building, it can be building your life, building your systems, building your job, like your resume, your qualifications, building your business, whatever. It could fall into any kind of category, your relationship, building. And then being is just being mindful, being present, being in the moment. Because you don't want to focus too much on the past and you don't want to focus too much on the future, right? You want to be in the moment. There's nothing better than the present moment. So you still want to incorporate 20% of the building and the being. You don't want to forget about it. But you focus more of your energy on the healing aspect, okay? So you do that in your 20s. Once your 20s are done, you jump over to your 30s, right? And now you start really building, because now you're not building on a smudged crystal. You're building on a crystal clear, beautiful crystal, right? So you're building on that. When you start building systems and skills around who you want to be, around your values, around what's important to your heart and to who you are, you're building something powerful for the future, right? And in the meantime, you're being in the moment. You're still being. You're still healing. You're healing forever, right? So just because your 20s are done, no, it doesn't mean you're done healing. No, you're always healing, right? That's forever. But now it switches, right? So now you're 70% building, right? Now your 30s is just you're focusing on building. Your systems, your investments, your business, your whatever you're building, right? Your relationships, all that kind of stuff. So you're building that, 70%. 30% is still part of the healing and the being, right? You're being in the moment, you're being present, and you're also kind of healing, right? So you're kind of switching the numbers. Now, that's your 30s. Now we jump over to your 40s, right? Your 40s is your B. You spent all your 20s, part of your 20s healing, just going through all that stuff. Spend your 30s building, right? You spend 10 years building something that is aligned with your values, aligned with who you are. Now in your 40s, you can enjoy it. You can be in the moment. You can be still, right? You're still being everywhere else, but now you can really be within that, what you built. And you're still working, you're still going through the flow, but now you're spending 60% of your time just being present. The other 40%, split it up between your healing, because you're always healing, and between your building, because you always want to build, right? We're meant to create, we're meant to build. We're not meant to retire at the age of 40, 50 with all this money and do nothing. No, like we're actually meant to always stay busy with our hands, with our communities, with our loved ones, whoever it is, right? So our 40s is where you can be. So the number one goal with healing is to remove all the noise so your signal gets crystal clear, right? You want to get clear. You want the voice inside to speak its truth, and that's through the heart. You want the heart to speak. But how can the heart speak? You need to remove all that programming, everything that's suppressed, right? Because all that programming and everything inside you, that's the ego, right? The ego, it wants to speak, it wants to protect itself, it wants to protect you, right? So the ego is always trying to protect its image, right? But when you're healed and you're being in the moment, you're being present, you're not bothered by the judgment of others, right? So the best thing you can do is you can heal as much as you can, right? And you can be in the moment. You can remove that voice and you can listen to your heart. Your heart knows what you want. It's the purest thing inside of you. It's the highest amount of energy. It's powerful, right? So you're healing to discover who your identity is. Not your ego's identity, your truest identity, right? Whose voice? What's that voice? Is it the ego or is it the heart? Listen to the heart. Choose loops, right? What are your loops that keep you grounded, right? Is it therapy? Is it reading about mindfulness? Is it meditation, right? What are those loops? Discover your values. I cannot stress this amount the most. It's the most powerful thing ever, is discovering those key values, right? So what are 3 words you'd fight for, right? Me, it's very simple. Animals. I will decide my entire life based on the well-being of animals. Second, myself, right? It's so important that I'm in the best possible shape mentally and physically so I can be there to provide for my family, for my loved ones, and also the animals that I care about, right? So discover what those values are to you. But you can't build your values off of a non-healed energy, because that is based off your ego. You want to develop your values off your heart. So that's the healing phase. So the next part is the build, right? Build. The goal of build is to turn your values into a vehicle. Your vehicle is the building, right? So my values around the animals and the environment and helping the earth heal, I'm using it, now I'm building it. So I'm taking that and turning it into a vehicle so I can have that sanctuary, I can have that meditation center, right? So for you, it's like Once you do the healing, once you figure out your values, you move over into the build. And now you skill stack, right? The goal is to skill stack. Develop different skills, stack them, how can it benefit your future? For me, I went to school at the beginning. Unconsciously I did this, but I went to school for millwright. I learned how to build things. I was able to build, I fixed my own car. I've built a few like tiny like A-frames, right? So I've done a lot of like carpentry type of work and I know how to fix stuff. So that's cool. And then I went to school for business, did a bunch of sales, did social media, built websites, all this kind of thing. So now I'm skill stacking. So that's why I want to build a sanctuary. I want to have a farm so I can take care of the animals, have A-frames so I can use that as an Airbnb. So it's a whole holistic approach to my skill stacking, right? So in your 20s and 30s, develop as many skills as possible. Projects, fantasies, right? Fantasies, when you hear, like when you say to your friends or your family, like, oh, I want to do this, and like, oh, you're dreaming again. You're always dreaming, right? I was always told, oh, you dream too big. But it's because we're not doing any of this. But when you start doing this, for one, you stop telling people what you're doing because they unfortunately never have good things to say. But for you, you turn your fantasy into a project. So you actually make it happen because anything is possible. Again, some things are wild, but you can make it happen. And the best way to do this is through measuring, right? Measure your energy plus your impact because it's so important to understand how much energy you're putting in and how much impact you're actually doing. That's the build. Now the B section. The goal of being is to live without expectations, to live without needing an approval of anything or anybody. It's just to be content in what you're building and how you're healing. And this is simple by just boundaries, right? What does your day-to-day look like? And does it align to your values? Because if you're doing it day-to-day and the things don't align with your values and you're just sad, you're miserable, you're anxious, all these feelings and emotions are coming up because you're not aligned with your values. You're doing the opposite of your values, right? And most of society, like when you hear those crazy people on the road beeping and just the anger that you feel in the air is because their day-to-day is not aligned with their values. And most likely is because they don't know their values. And because they don't know their values, they can't live in their day-to-day activities to live within those values. So it's so important to understand your values so your day-to-day is aligned with your values. Rituals, right? Rituals anchor you. Any type of rituals. Is it breath work? Is it meditation? Is it cold plunge? Whatever, any type of thing out there, right? Everyone's like, oh, biohacking. Who cares about the good stuff that it brings? Sure, it brings a lot of science. There's a lot of science behind that. It brings a lot of benefit to the body, which is awesome. But it's mostly just to anchor you, to bring you back into who you are. Is it lo-fi music when you study, when you read? Is it meditation? Is it long walks? Whatever the ritual is, discover your ritual that you align with, that you like, not because somebody else is doing it, because you like it, you enjoy it, because it'll anchor you in the moment. Teach by living, not shouting. A lot of people, right, and you know this, and it's ironic enough because I'm making a video, but everyone just talks, right? Everyone loves to talk, shout, right? Activism and all this kind of stuff. But if you look in their day-to-day activities, their day-to-day life, are they living within their values? Are they doing it day to day, or are they just shouting? It's so important to teach by just action, by just living, right? There's nothing more powerful than by just doing it with the actions. And people will follow, not doing what you're doing, but in terms of looking inward and following what their heart wants to, because, oh wow, he's following his passion, he's doing his purpose. And how did he do it? By just looking inward. So it helps people look inward instead of just shouting without doing. And unfortunately, religion is big in that, right? We see a lot of people, preaching religion, doing all this religious stuff, and then you look at their journey in their life and they're doing the complete opposite of what religion is out there to do. It's to help people. Anyways, let's move on to the last part of the video, the purpose sprint. I'm gonna show you a 30-day plan that you can activate to make this come to life for you in your personal journey. Okay, this is the sprint I want you to take, the purpose sprint for the next 30 days. Try this out, okay? So week 1, focus on the healing, right? I know the goal of this sprint is not to rush it. It's just to get an idea of how you can add this to your journey, right? If it takes longer, it takes longer. But start with week 1. So week 1, write 10 times you felt most alive or proud. Circle the common verb. That's your raw material, okay? So write down the 10 most alive moments you've ever felt in your life. It may take a couple days, but deeply reflect on this, okay? What is those 10 times? And circle the most common word you find. Name your top 3 values in kid language. No jargon, just tell the truth. Help animals. Build things that last, right? Just keep it very, very simple, okay? Simplify this as much as you can so you get crystal clear. Week 2, right? Once you have this, go to build, right? Small projects, 10 hours max.
Pick one tiny project that matches those verbs and values. So here's an example. Host a free training for new creators on ethical marketing, right? Volunteer 2 Saturdays at an animal sanctuary operation. Build a simple Notion system for a friend and document the process. 10 hours total, and then this will help you, right? By understanding those 10 alive moments, what is the verb? Create a small project. For me, it was a sanctuary. I want to build a sanctuary in 10 years. But do I really want it? So I went to a bunch of sanctuaries, I went traveling for 9 months, and I dove deep into the sanctuary world and just learned everything about sanctuaries. And I nailed it. It's exactly, yes, cool, that's what I want. If you want to start a business, right? If you want to develop, if you're good at systems, right? Develop a Notion system. I have my own Notion system I developed because I love systems. So I developed it. Develop it, give it to a friend, someone that kind of needs it, and get their opinion, right? So you're just slowly you're building, right? You're getting the momentum going. Now, hop over to week 3, right? This, ask 5 people you helped, right? What changed for them, right? So try to understand what did that system give them? What did it do for them, right? Understand what is it? And capture their exact language, right? That's your impact signal. Track 2 metrics daily, right? So you want to keep these metrics, right? You have energy and you have impact. Patterns beat opinions, okay? So find that pattern. So every day you have energy, impact, and you rate it by 10, right? So today, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, my energy, what's from 1 out of 10? Okay. What's the impact level, right? What impact did I do today? And find out from 1 to 10, where is it? Now at week 4, right? This is the build and the B. So pick a high energy impact lane. So this is where you pick the highest energy and the highest impact lane and commit to a 90-day build. So what I mean by that is you find those days that you're trying new things, you're trying to figure out, you're processing, you're reading, you're learning about a topic, whatever it is, and you notice, okay, I had high energy this day, and I felt some high impact or a high impact that can be done. So this is the kind of area I want to be in, right? Skill plan, right? 1 hard skill, 1 soft skill. That's it. Very, very simple, right? Now that you know the energy, the impact that brought you that happiness, publish plan, 1 article, 1 artifact a week. So what I mean by that is, what is it? If it's building content, okay, then post content. If it's building a business, right, do that 1 thing a week that just brings you a little closer to that end goal that you want. The next thing is service plan. So 1 person helped per day, free or paid. Purpose isn't hidden, it's formed by these loops. So basically, after 4 weeks, right, you should have healed, kind of discovered what's going on, what's inside, right? Try to take that out. Now you start building small little projects to kind of see, okay, is this really in alignment with my heart or my ego? Start being aware, right? Understanding who has it helped, is it helping, can it bring value to the mass? And then now you start building it, right? Now you start bringing that little project, turn into a big project. Now you turn a 4-week plan, 30 days, to a 90-day plan, but now it's more focused on the building, right? Because you've done this part. And it's a little sprint, it's an idea, it kind of gets the brain thinking, but the most important about all of this is to just look inward, right? Listen to the heart, because the heart is the most powerful organ in our body. The highest frequency is love, right? And the heart and the love, they correlate together. Such a powerful thing. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments about the old Heal, Build, Be framework. I'm still working on it, right? It came to me a couple years ago. Let me know what you think about the crystal. And yeah, let me know if it helped in any way. Let me know if it gave you ideas or tips to catapult you in that next part of your journey. Anyways, have a good day. Ciao.